All right, let's get things rocking. Today's going to hit deep because are we are going to talk about something that's either propelling your life forward or honestly secretly holding you back. Um, Holding you back or slowing you down. Okay. Have you ever had momentum where everything finally just started flowing? Right? You felt clear, focused, fired up, and suddenly results are starting to compound, right? That's called momentum, right? And once it's on your side, you become you become unrealistically effective. You're like, how are you doing this? But the truth that most people miss is that momentum isn't something that you wait for. Momentum is something you create. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, right? To master how you control your emotional state and use it to generate unstoppable progress, right? And we're also going to dive into emotional patterns and that we've been unconsciously repeating and how to break those that we no longer that they no longer serve us. So let's get to it. The first concept is foundational. And if you really, really, really own this, it will change how you show up forever. And I keep talking about this because it's so, so, so important. And we have to continue to condition ourselves with this concept. Emotion is created by motion. Emotion is created by motion. Most people think emotions happen to them. They think I'm just having a bad day, or I woke up anxious, or I'm not in the mood. But the truth is, emotions aren't random, they're patterns. And like any other pattern, you can unlearn and reprogram the pattern, right? So the triad of state is what my mentor Tony Robbins calls it, right? The three focuses that create every emotional state that you feel, right? What's the triad of state? Drop it into the chat for me. What's the triad of state? Anybody? Anybody got it? The triad of states. Number one is physiology. Physiology. How you move, how you breathe, how you carry yourself. It's the number one. You change the way you move, you change how you feel. Focus and language is number two. Focus in language is number two. What you focus on and the words you choose internally and externally. I see you done that. Number three is meaning. the belief or the story you assign to a situation. What do the things mean? Right? What beliefs do you have? Right? Physiology. We're going to go quickly through these, right? But physiology, your body leads your emotions, right? Try this real quick. Sit up tall, shoulders back, chest open, take a deep breath in and release. Now do it again, but this time breathe like someone who's about to win. That shift is the shift in state from just regularly breathing in to breathing in with intention, right? Number two is focus and language. What you focus on, you feel. What you focus on, you become more aware of. And the words you choose, right, shape the way that you think. Ever said, I'm just so stressed, right? Replace that with, I'm feeling pressure because I care, right? See how the shift in energy of the language, it's different, right? I don't have the answer yet, but I'm in motion, right? The words program your nervous system. The words attached with the physiology, right? The way your body feels, the way you're moving your body attached with the words and the thoughts that you have, wire your nervous system. When my body's this way, I feel this way. When my body's this way and these words are stated, I feel this way. Finally, meaning. Every moment your brain is asking, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Right? If someone doesn't respond to your message, you could say, they're ignoring me. This creates the feeling of anxiety because we don't like not to be loved. Right? Or you could say, they're probably busy. This creates peace, creates space. Right? Same event, totally different experience. Right? So here's the bottom line. If you want to change your life, you have to master your state. Your state is the fuel behind every decision that you make, every risk that you take or don't take, every relationship that you build, every result that you create. Your state is built through this triad: physiology, focus and language, and meaning. You control these, no one else. No one else controls these but you. That's the power that you have and you've had all along. We just weren't taught that from the beginning. So we're going to build from here today, right? So let's keep going. The 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 next the next part of this is getting into the science of transformation, right? If you ever felt like you know what to do, right? You want to do it, but for some reason you keep falling back into the old patterns, right? I want to do it. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I just can't get going. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack discipline. It's because you haven't finished what's called neuroassociative conditioning. You haven't completed the cycle and continued the conditioning cycle of our nervous system, right? This is the foundation of how you rewire your mind and your body for lasting change. And it's not a one and done. That's the misconception. I do it one time and my life has changed forever. No, you're wrong. You have to condition your mind. You have to condition your nervous system. If you think about athletes, at the beginning of every season, they go through a conditioning period. And throughout the season, every practice, they have a portion built into the practice for conditioning. You want to make sure that you have the stamina to play at the highest level, right? So, step one in neuroassociative conditioning is deciding what you really want. We're going to break this down step by step by step. All right. Number one is deciding what you really want, right? Not not what you kind of want, not what sounds nice, not what you think the other people want to hear, right? But what you want deep down inside, your truest desire. This is where most people never get started, right? This is where this throws most people off track. Because they'll say things like, Ryan, I just want to be better. I just want to be more successful. I want to be happier. It's not a decision. That's a hope. Hope is not a strategy, right? If your GPS, right? Your GPS says, go somewhere better. Where's it going to take you? Where's it going to take you? Nowhere. It's not taking you anywhere. Your coordinates need to be specific. You need clarity and you need direction, right? So let me ask you directly, what do you actually want? What do you actually desire for you in your life? Is it six-figure a month income? Is it waking up energized and confident every day? Right? Is it being fully present with your family without a guilt or distraction? Right? Is it being a leader who commands the room without saying a word? You have to name it. You've got to name it very, very clearly. Because what does that do? Changes, trains your reticular activation system. Trains your reticular activation system, right? Because until your brain has a clear, vivid target, you'll hesitate, you'll procrastinate, you'll sabotage. You have to be very, very clear. You have to be clear. When you're clear, you train your reticular activation system. This is what I'm looking for. This is what's important to me. And the things that are important to you will become present to you. And then it's about you taking action. Write this down. Ambiguity kills progress. Clarity creates power. Ambiguity kills progress. Clarity creates power. So I want you to take 30 seconds right here, right? And I want you to write this down. The exact income I'm committing to is, and I want you to fill in the blank. I'm sorry, not income. You see where my mind is. The exact outcome I'm committing to is. This is the outcome. This is where I'm going. This is what I desire. Make it clear, make it measurable, and make it something that's emotionally connected to you. We're going to talk about emotions in a minute, but make it emotionally charged. So, not, I want to get in shape. Instead, I'm committed to losing 45 pounds, feeling confident in my clothes, running 3 miles without pain. Difference, big difference, right? That's what tells your brain we're going there. We're not turning back. We're burning the boats and we're going. Step number 2 is getting leverage on yourself. All right. I hope you wrote that down, made it clear. Clear, measurable, emotionally charged. Step number 2 is getting leverage on yourself. Getting leverage on yourself. And this is where change goes from possible to inevitable. Right? Because we don't always change when we should. Talked about should, right? We change when we must. Right? This step is all about leverage. So what is leverage? Leverage is when you create so much emotional intensity, so much inner pressure that your nervous system says enough. I can't keep doing it this way. You're literally forcing a breakthrough by linking two things. Linking two things. You're linking massive pain to the current pattern. Excuse me. Linking massive pain to the current pattern. Massive pain to the current pattern. And you're linking massive pleasure to the new pattern. We as people, we run from pain, right? We don't like pain. Our mind doesn't like pain. Our body doesn't like pain. So if we create massive pain with the current state, that forces us to take action to move away from that. And we seek pleasure. So if we link massive pleasure to the new pattern, we'll run from the pain toward the pleasure. So if you skip this step, if the pain isn't intense enough, you'll keep tolerating the old behavior. You'll stay in the pattern because it's not painful enough yet. You ever stayed in a relationship too long? And you finally got to the point where you said, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. That's the pain. That's the pain. And you saw where you wanted to go. You saw a life of pleasure, a life of peace, a life of abundance. That's the pleasure. So you say you want to stop procrastinating. Cool. But your nervous system needs more than logic. Your nervous system needs way more than logic. It truly needs a gut punch, a reason to get out of that habit, right? So here's how we stack the leverage. Link massive pain to the old pattern. So ask yourself, in your notebook, ask yourself, what is procrastination really costing me? Like, truly, what is it costing me? Be as harsh as possible. What is it really costing you? How does it make you feel about yourself? What is procrastination really costing you, and how does procrastination make you feel about yourself? Be as brutal as possible. You want to link as much pain to not changing. And then what does it do to my future? What does it do to my future? If I don't do anything, if I don't do anything, what does it do to my future? I was listening to uh to Tony Robbins, and he was telling a story about one of his first coaching sessions. And it was a smoker, right? It was a smoker. And the guy just multiple packs a day. And his daughter walks in the room. His daughter walks in the room. The guy's been trying to quit smoking for years. His daughter walks in the room. Daddy, I don't want you to die. He's like, baby, I'm not dying. Yes, you are, Daddy. You smoking is gonna kill you. Hmm. At that moment, he didn't, the pain wasn't even for him at that point. He was okay with smoking. Smoking wasn't painful for him, but he did not want his daughter to feel that way. That was the pain that he needed to change his pattern instantly. So now every time he thought about picking up that cigarette, he thought about the look on his daughter's face, linking massive pain to the old pattern, right? So go deeper. Missing out on income, right? Feeling like a fraud when I say I'm going to do these things and don't follow through, right? Losing confidence in myself every time that I delay, right? It's affecting my relationships. I'm distracted and ashamed. Be brutally honest with yourself about the pain that it's causing. Make the pain emotional and immediate. Not I'll feel pain down the line. Right now, what is the pain that you're feeling? If your brain thinks it costs it someday, it won't move. But if the cost is right now, today, we got to go. And now let's link massive pleasure to the new pattern. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to finish things ahead of schedule? What would that feeling be? Right? How would it feel to end the day knowing that you executed fully? Or go back to that first question that I asked you this morning. Ever felt a moment where everything was just clicking? You had the momentum. You were very, very clear about what was happening. Things were happening for you, and they were just going. Tons of progress, tons of accomplishment. Things were just moving. What did that feel like? The energy was through the roof, right? Feeling that you know that you're executing fully, you're giving 100% effort. Even if things didn't go your way, you knew that you could learn from those lessons and continue moving. Feeling is elation. What would that unlock for you if you created that feeling today? Now paint that picture for yourself. You're closing clients with ease. You're hitting your revenue targets. You're feeling proud when you look in the mirror. You're showing up for your kids the way that they deserve. Feel that. Feel what that feels like. The nervous system moves away from pain and toward pleasure, right? So when you rewire when you wire that emotional contrast, pain versus pleasure, your brain starts to reject the old behavior as it's unsafe, right? We've talked about the brain being the safety mechanism, and it looks for things that are unsafe. Create the environment that old behavior is unsafe. If I keep procrastinating, I'm risking my life because I'm procrastinating. If I take action today, I unlock absolutely everything that I've ever wanted today. That's leverage. And once you have it, you won't need willpower. You'll have the emotional momentum. You won't have to force yourself through it because it's wired in your nervous system now to go because we can't feel this any longer. Step number 3, right? Interrupting that pattern. Now we have the pain and we have the pleasure. Now what happens how do we stop ourselves when we fall back into that old loop, right? We have the pain and pleasure. We understand that, right? But now there are steps where most people they're not doing the work, right? So they do actually stay stuck, right? They try to logically go through it just by stopping at, oh, I know that this will be painful later, right? These are deeply ingrained patterns and behaviors. So we also have to interrupt the pattern and immediately create that pleasurable situation, right? So you can't think your way out of a nervous system pattern. You can't think your way out of a nervous system pattern, right? If you ever felt stuck in procrastination, anxiety, or fear, or any kind of mental loop, you know what I'm talking about. That spiral starts, right? I need to calm down. I need to focus. And what happens? You get more anxious. You're not focused. You're not calm, right? Because you're trying to solve a state problem with a thought solution instead of changing the physiology. So let me say this again. You can't solve anxiety with more thinking, right? You break the pattern with motion, with energy, with interruption, right? So Ryan, what's a pattern interrupt? Pattern interrupt is anything that changes your physical, mental, and emotional state in the moment, right? You do something unexpected, something that shocks the nervous system enough to break the loop and create an opening for that pleasurable new pattern, right? Think about it like this. Your brain is running this old playlist: fear, doubt, avoidance. Pattern interrupt is you ripping out the aux cord on the audio device and saying, nope, we're not playing that track today, right? Why does this work? Your brain is conditioned through repetition. Conditioned. Neuroassociative conditioning. Doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So if you always respond to stress with freezing, with hiding, with scrolling, with eating, you reinforce that loop. But when you interrupt that pattern, your brain pauses just long enough to accept a new signal, right? That's your window to change. Literally, something as small as making a crazy sound, right? You're in a stressful situation and your pattern interrupt is to, or you're in an argument that happens consistently on a regular cadence and you make a crazy sound, it's going to stop and interrupt everything that's happening in that moment. I'm going to say, what was that? Gives you an opportunity to insert that new signal, right? Literally using sound, your body, or your voice to break the pattern, right? Something like blasting the music and dancing for 60 seconds in the middle of a stressful situation, right? Jumping in a cold shower, doing 10 push-ups or 10 burpees, just in a spur of the moment stressful situation, or in the middle of an argument, drop down and do 10 burpees. What will the person say that you're arguing with, right? Pattern interrupt by changing the time you wake up, right? I love it. I love it. Or screaming yes or now, full volume. Shake your arms out, shake your legs out, take deep breaths. Pattern interrupts, right? Snap a rubber band on your wrist. Pattern interrupts, giving you space to insert the new pattern, right? Don't worry about how it might feel silly at first, right? Breakthrough doesn't always look pretty, but it works, right? It works. So what pattern interrupt can you use to change your pattern or to stop that old pattern, to interrupt it, to give you the opportunity to insert your new one as you're conditioning your nervous system for something different, right? Pattern interrupts, adding them into our day. Step number 4 is creating new empowering alternatives, right? Creating new empowering alternatives. So we've got it, right? We got to know where we're going, okay? We got to know exactly where we're going. We got to know what we want, right? We got to get leverage on ourselves. We have to link massive pain to the current situation and massive pleasure to the new pattern, right? We've got pattern interrupts that will add in. So when we start doing that old pattern, we interrupt it. Boom. Now, what do we put in place of that pattern that we've just interrupted, right? You can't just destroy the old pattern. You have to install a new one, right? If you don't give your nervous system a clear replacement, guess what it's going to do? It's going to go back to its default. What's familiar, right? Right back to procrastination, right back to fear, right back to overwhelm. So your job is replace it. Replace the old identity with an empowering one, right? Build a new pattern that aligns with your vision, that address that you just put in your GPS. That that pattern that you're putting in has to be in alignment and take you in that direction that's on your GPS, right? Why does this work? The brain learns through repetition, right? So we have to condition our brain to identify this new pattern as safe, as pleasure, so that we can continue to reinforce it. The more we reinforce it, the more the brain becomes familiar with that new pattern, and now it's safe. You've already interrupted the loop. Now we teach the new one, right? You're saying to your nervous system, hey, this is who I am now. This is who I am now. This is who I am now. So we're going to get used to it. When my body is this way, when I have this physiology, when I'm using these words, when I have these beliefs, I've interrupted that old pattern, and this is the new pattern that I'm giving to you. When I feel this way, this is my new pattern, right? And as you do that more and more and more and more and more, now the new pattern becomes automatic. It's no longer maximum effort because you've conditioned in your nervous system. When I say this, when I feel this, this is how I go, right? So that procrastination example, old identity. I freeze when I'm overwhelmed. I'll do it later, and I never follow through. Here's how you flip that. I take bold action now. So I stand up, my shoulders are back, my chest is out. I take long, deep breaths, filling up my diaphragm, right? And I tell myself, I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I create clarity by moving, not waiting. And so I immediately take an action step to move me in that direction, just one. And you don't just say this once. You don't just do this once. You do it immediately over and over and over and over and over again to start that installation process, right? And you install it just like software. When you install new software in your computer, it goes through a refresh process where it turns it off and it implements all of the new software. Same thing with this new pattern. When you install it, you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again immediately to start to shift your nervous system. And then every time you're in that situation and you do it daily, multiple times daily, we're installing it in our nervous system now until it runs without you thinking about it, right? So, ways that we can install a new pattern, doing multiple of these, right? In your journal, writing it down daily, right? In your planner, on your mirror in the bathroom, which is a great place to write things. You see it and you're reminded of it daily. Anywhere you can see it, write it down. Speak it out loud 5 to 10 times a day. Say it with certainty, stand tall and own it. Visualize yourself living it in your down moments. Taking aligned micro actions, small, immediate steps daily, right? Daily taking steps. And then when you take the steps, celebrate the win because you're telling your body, this is pleasure. You're telling your brain and your nervous system, this is pleasure by celebrating. So when you complete the action, celebrate. When you do it, celebrate. When you do it, celebrate. When you do it, celebrate. That helps the emotional connection, which ingrains it deeper into the nervous system. That's step number 4, the alternative. Step number 5 is conditioning it until it becomes automatic, right? conditioning it until it becomes automatic. This is what separates the dabblers from the transformers. People say, "Oh, I want to do this," and they might do a little bit here, a little bit there, from the people that just go and they get it done. They condition it repeatedly, quickly, and they move, right? Most people get excited, they break a pattern, they install something new, but then they stop. New Year's resolution. Life gets busy, doubt creeps in, and they get right back to that old groove in the nervous system. Why? Because they never conditioned it, they never conditioned that pattern long enough to make it automatic. They stopped because it got difficult. You're not always you're not what you occasionally do. You are what you consistently condition. What you consistently condition. That's why this step matters. That's good, Joy. That's good. Here's the science behind this. Your brain creates those neural pathways, those connections, right? And they're like trails in a forest. Every time you repeat a thought, an action, a behavior, that trail or that neural pathway, that neural connection gets stronger. Every time you do it, it gets stronger. The more often you walk it, the clearer, the faster the path becomes, the stronger the connection gets. You're literally rewiring your nervous system. You're conditioning it to do something different. The catch: the brain doesn't learn through intensity, it learns through frequency. Intensity makes the emotion stronger so your body remembers it, but your brain learns through frequency. Screaming "I'm confident" once in the mirror won't change your life, but doing it every single day with emotion and movement, you're connecting, right? Words, thoughts, beliefs, actions. It absolutely will, right? So how do you condition a new pattern? Let's use the earlier example. I take bold action now. Here's how you install that into your operating system. Repetition. Say it every day, multiple times, morning, afternoon, night, with extreme emotion, as if you've completed the thing that you desire to complete. Right? With emotion, don't whisper it, don't mumble it. See it like your life depends on it, because it does. Emotion is the glue that makes the neural pathway stronger, right? Movement. Move your body while you're speaking it. Create create a power move. Whatever you want that power move to be, right? And you want to move your body while you're speaking it. Stand tall, smile, breathe deep, and make your power move while you speak what you do, right? And so now what you're doing is, when you need to feel that thing, this is the move you make. When I make this move, I'm telling my nervous system, this is how I should feel. The more you do it, the more you'll ingrain it. So now when you're out in public and you feel like you need to go now, you make this power move and your body's ready to go. And then creating the environment to support this action, this new belief, right? Writing it on the mirror, setting a phone reminder, put it on your lock screen. Surround yourself with your new identity that will support you in changing, right? And then creating some sort of tracker for yourself. Give yourself a 30-day challenge. Did I say it? Did I do it? Did I act on it? Did I say it? Did I move like it? Did I act on it? The progress compounds. And progress builds belief. Step number 6, test it, test it, test it, test it, test it, test it. Not just in your home, but in the real world, right? Don't just journal about it, but live it. Catch yourself with the old trigger, interrupt it, implement the new pattern, and install it multiple times quickly. Doesn't matter what it looks like. No shame, just recondition it, right? And if you see that old pattern, interrupt it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't talk down to yourself. Interrupt the pattern, install the new pattern immediately, and continue to move forward, right? This is neuroassociative conditioning, right? It's how to get out of the mental loop, break the old pattern, and create real change that lasts. So again, decide what you want. Get leverage on yourself. Link pain and pleasure. Interrupt the old pattern. Replace it with something empowering. Condition it until it's second nature. And then test it, live it, and reinforce it. You do that, now you're not hoping for change. You're engineering it. That's the difference between dabbling in personal development and mastering your transformation, good people. So I'm going to pause here. We'll save the second half of this for next week. We got 3 more pieces to creating this momentum. All right. So we'll save the second half for next week. All right. Floor's open, thoughts, feedback, questions.
Well done.
What's the deal, Joy?
Slow motion. So over the weekend, I got hit with I had plans, but I had got hit with an unexpected situation. And the one thing I'm proud about um is that in this situation, I made no promises. And normally, I guess with me, the only thing I have on my word, so I think a lot of times I'm hard on myself because my word represents me. And so if I don't fall through, sometimes I get hard on myself and, feel like a failure that I didn't do nothing, even though I did the best that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And this weekend I did exactly that. I said from the beginning, I can't make no promises. I'm gonna try to help. And I did just that. And then once I did what I was supposed to do, if it go through, it go through. I don't even feel worried or anxious to make sure that it's going to get worked through because if it does, it does. And if it don't, it don't. I tried. But as I got tired from that, I still had this job to do, which was clean the griddle and get the rust off
Mm.
before it got too hot outside. And when I tell you that was the hardest thing because I started procrastinating, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. But I had got a little motivation and got it done. So thank
You
you
got
for
it done.
I needed it.
You got it done. And that's it, right? Not beating yourself up about the steps that you do take, giving your all and allowing that to be, and taking the steps that you have control over,
Hmm.
right? That's it. As long as you continue to take those steps, you'll continue to make progress.
Yeah, and it felt good because when you were sitting there saying, sometimes if we get into a nice little debate or something, okay. I used to be on the debate team, so it's a habit. It's a habit. But now I remember somebody came up when I first got the truck. It's like right after like a little disagreement happened. I had just got the truck and I'm not used to the hybrid. And I accidentally hit the brake and the person thought I was about to hit him, but I had full control of my vehicle.
Hmm.
And I didn't think none of it. And this man came next to my truck, was like, "You was trying to hit me." And the guy worked there. I was dropping my daughter off of work. He was trying to intimidate me. And I just said, huh? Huh? He got so aggravated he drove off. But I didn't engage and I didn't allow him to drive me down. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. No, we always appreciate you, Joy. Always appreciate you. That's it. That's it. You have control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. And you don't have to give that power to anybody else. That's yours. You have the ability to use it if you, when you choose to. And we can choose to use that all the time. Most people don't. They allow everybody else to control their emotions, to control their thoughts. And then they allow their circumstances to create their life. And they continue that pattern over and over and over and over and over again until they believe that they can't do anything different. They're not worthy of anything different because the pattern is installed and they don't know how to break it. They don't know how to change it. And I can say these things because I was there. I was that I was that guy that thought I was stuck. I had to change my patterns. I had to change my beliefs. I had to change my actions. And there's still things in my life that I have patterns that I have to break, I have to change, I have to move. It's a conditioning process. That conditioning process doesn't stop. You got to continue to condition, continue to put forth the effort daily to ensure that your mind and your body stays ready. What else we got? Thoughts, feedback, questions.
Hello, morning,
What's up?
everybody.
What's up, Ms. Donut?
So I'm doing well, thank you. So, for me, this was like right on time because in the accountability group, Tyrone, I believe it was Tyrone that brought up this book. I didn't think it was Jeremy, but they can correct me. The mental game of trading, and that's what we're
Mm,
starting today, actually going through and analyzing it. And for me, yesterday I couldn't put it down. I actually went to chapter 3, and I'm not a reader.
that's awesome.
And it's talking about some of the same things that you brought up today exactly, but it mostly
Hmm,
relates to trading, obviously. But
yeah.
the author, Jared Tendler, he talks about treating your emotion as signals and stabilizing those emotions as you trade. And for me, I don't let the trades run all the way to the take profit, like the D extensions. So that is something that, as a scalper, I just take my money and I run. And I'm learning now to kind of watch the trade play out, and it gives me so much inner flutters, like, so
Mhm.
working on that is kind of like the thing that I have to really work through, but there are emotions there, and I've kind of written down like those emotional triggers, like when I lose a trade, what happens, and just jotting down the patterns, which is so key, but you never realize you had patterns. At least I never
Right.
realized the patterns were so strong. And the one thing that really stood out is like, if you lose a trade and the trade doesn't go your way, how do you feel? And I don't think I ever stopped to think about that as long as I've been trading. So
Hmm.
for me, it's more like, I know how to do my technical analysis. I know how to do everything, putting in the trades, winning trades, but seeing that whole process through. And one of the things that Jeremy helped us with is to do like a flow chart this week, and just being able to say you know how to do something and doing it. I think that's where my um what's the word? I want to say learning curve, but it's where I think it's gonna bridge my success.
Absolutely.
Um, so that's what we're working on. Just so this morning I woke up early just because I have so many things in my day that interrupts just that time to kind of like walk through my stuff
Yeah.
all the way. That's what I'm doing to kind of like interrupt those patterns. And today I did, so far so well, just observing and writing down why. Why am I in a rush? That's always been my thing, the patience thing.
Absolutely.
But it's really good. So right on time, and that's where I'm at.
I love it. I appreciate that. And if you go back to 2021 and some of the not even some of the, well, some of the mindset sessions, but also some of the live sessions that we did back in 2021, right? You'll hear me ask those questions as people are talking about their losses, right? How do they make you feel? Right? And we talk about in Mindset Mondays, where does the feeling come from? The feeling of fear, that feeling of uncertainty. When was the first time you remember feeling that way? Right? Addressing those deeper rooted issues that have never been addressed. Right? And if you take those questions, right? How does it make you feel, and walk through the thought process? And then you add it to where we are now with immediately making change, changing the beliefs, changing the actions, changing the patterns. Now, what you're able to do is you're able to heal that younger self, and you're able to install new patterns that take you in a new trajectory. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Oh, I'll go back.
It's a
But
beautiful
it
thing.
feels good. I feel a lot more peaceful.
I love it.
I'm starting to feel away anyways, but I definitely I could feel when those emotions are coming on. And I know like I have to do something. I think that's the shift. Like
Yeah,
I know exactly now. Like I feel the emotion. I have to do something.
that's awesome. You're aware now.
Yeah.
You're aware that it's present, and now you have the opportunity to interrupt and make that change. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Kudos to you. Appreciate you for sharing.
Yeah, I think sometimes you don't really, you're growing, but until, like you said, you feel a pain of something. You have to feel that pain of something.
Exactly.
And in feeling, the same patterns and the same things coming up over and over and over, um, it's just no time and just in our growth and just addressing um the psychological part of our trading now. Because I could mark up a chart. I can do everything. I could do all my technical in my sleep. I could literally, that is not my issue.
Hmm.
But you have the bigger issue, the psychological part. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beautiful part about growth and learning is that, and in community, is that everybody's learning at different speeds. Everybody's aware of different things at different times. And so at some point, something will be brought into your awareness that you may not be ready for at that moment. But then when it's brought up again in the future, as you've made shifts and you've made changes and you've grown and evolved, now you receive whatever that message is in a different way. That's the beautiful part about this community and surrounding ourselves with people that are all working toward the same goal of growth and evolution. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Wait, I just want to add, hey, Donetta, you just got to imagine those holding them trays as happy butterflies in your stomach.
right now, I could do it. I could do it. It's just, like you said, the frequency of it happening, but you see it play out all the time, but it's not something I do. So
I know I've adapted to sit in these trays, but let me tell you something. That's the reason why psychologically I have Benny on one shoulder and Ryan on the other as my conscious of walking through these trays. Like no lie. Like I hear Benny, the discipline that he backs up, and then I hear Ryan with Mindset Monday, like, don't let this defeat you. This is when I lose trades and stuff like that. So
I love it, man. I love it.
thank you.
I love it. All right, good people. Listen, it's go time. It's go time. All right. So what patterns are you breaking and what new empowering patterns are you installing? That's the question. All right. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. You all have a phenomenal Monday.